So today I want to talk about something a little different. It's simply this. What happens when an entire society stops caring about each other? What happens then? I mean, right now, women are making it very difficult for men who are not their partners to care about their protection and safety. What happens when an entire society stops doing that one thing? No one wants to care for the elderly. No one wants to care for anyone who's weaker. It's survival of the fittest. You can't survive. That's your thing. That's who cares? I ain't caring. And you're not caring simply on the fear of repercussion. And that's what I want to examine today in this video here that was produced by China Observer. And the title of this video is China's Survival Rule Today. Don't help up fallen elderly. Wow. This one's going to be a little bit heart-wrenching, gentlemen. Hold on to your seats. Because I know a lot of us are getting up to that point where we're going to need some help. Hit that like button, my friends, because this one's going to hit hard.
An elderly man was walking on the street when he suddenly lost his balance and fell heavily to the ground. He tried to push himself up using his hands, but his arms were too weak to support him. In front of him, a woman wearing a scarf did not notice the elderly man at first. When she turned around after finishing what she was doing, she saw the elderly man. Would she help him? Instead of assisting, she simply moved her electric bike aside and walked off without looking back. Then, two more electric vehicles appeared in the scene. They glanced at the elderly man and quickly left. 20 years ago, such a scene would have been unimaginable in China, but today it has become a common occurrence. What kind of society has this become? How did it turn out this way? Let me tell you some disgusting truths. You won't understand unless you've been betrayed by society. An elderly person fell while exercising in the morning in Changsha, and 49 people passed by without anyone calling the police, until the elderly person stopped breathing. Honestly, I was quite shocked. No one dared to help, I can understand that, but not even calling the police. I didn't expect that. It was only after watching the news that I realized that calling the police not only takes time to write a report, but you also have to find a way to prove your innocence. Can you bear that? The police will find you through your phone number. Let me tell you, I have a friend who also saw an elderly person fall and called the police. The police asked him to write 3 reports. He missed work, had 2 days' salary deducted, lost his perfect attendance bonus, got scolded half to death by his wife, and was ridiculed at work for a year. If you're even more unlucky and encounter a deceptive elderly person or unreasonable family members, you're basically done for.
Oh, gosh. Wow. So what I see in this video, my friends, is when the society has given up just because helping someone these days has become more dangerous than actually not doing anything at all. This is what we're seeing happening in China right now. And unfortunately, this is what has happened in the West, especially in the US. Because helping a woman who's getting beaten by her mate or some other random individual who's obviously incredibly emotional, has reached a breaking point, or he's just an all-wrong bad person. Either way, the person can easily attack you for helping. But what has happened in many cases is that not only did the person, the white knight who steps in, have either gotten shot, gotten stabbed, or worse, and this is where a lot of men have stepped aside, the woman who's getting her butt kicked by her lover or significant other, she steps in when she sees the lover getting his ass kicked by the stranger and beats on that person, and both of them start beating on you, and then file a complaint against you afterwards. So what happens? All the men said, hey, if it ain't my freaking woman, I'm not taking that chance. This is what we're seeing happening on a different level now. So it's not only happening with women, it's now happening with the elderly. There's a significant reason why this particular thing happened, but it's similar to what happened in America. Let's listen.
Now, if you help someone on the street, you're essentially gambling with your own and your family's happiness. If there's surveillance footage, it's fine. At most, the family will apologize, but if there's no evidence and you can't prove your innocence, you could end up having to pay tens of thousands. If one person doesn't help or 2 people don't help, it might be a personal problem. But if 49 people pass by and no one helps, then it's a problem with the system. The system is the problem. Let me tell you something you didn't expect. How do I know 49 people didn't call the police? Because the family sued all 49 of them. Although the court eventually didn't support the lawsuit, think about it. If you encounter such a family, would you dare to help? If you really helped, you can't imagine what kind of trouble the family might cause you. An elderly person fell in front of a small shop and the shop owner didn't dare to help. Later, the elderly person's son came to argue. Below is the conversation between the shop owner and the elderly's family. I won't help. Except for my father, I will never help other elderly people. I know that there are families like yours, so I dare not help. If you had helped, there wouldn't be an issue. It's just a hospital visit, just a skin injury. But since you didn't help, no one else dared to. If you had been the first to help, others would have said you helped too. What are you afraid of? Someone will testify that you deliberately didn't help. I'm telling you, you will pay the money whether you like it or not. This son really takes shamelessness to a new height. It turns out that helping costs money, but now even not helping costs money. How dare he boldly go and demand compensation? Thankfully, I didn't help. If I had, the small shop would have been handed over to him. It's because of people like this that society's moral environment is getting worse. Now, who would dare to help when they see an elderly person fall? If you don't help, nothing happens. But once you reach out to help, the trouble will stick to you like a shadow that you can't get rid of. Call the police will never finish with you. Call ambulance, the hospital won't be finished with you. If you help, the family won't be finished with you. The shop owner is definitely relieved that he didn't help. Facing such a shameless family, I think there is no need to argue. Just call the police and accuse them of extortion. There's no law that says you have to help.
Oh, man. To me, this is the lowest of the lowest at which any society could sink to. But the problem arises from the system itself, which looks at the person who helps as the perpetrator. So, to be honest, I can't blame anyone for not helping. I mean, if I was to look at it from a personal perspective, and I would love for you guys to look at it from a personal perspective as well, would you want to endanger your life, your financial health, your mental health? Your entire world could collapse because someone you helped then tries to sue you for helping. Oh, man. And then if you don't help and they catch you on CCTV just standing around, you could just as well get sued for not helping. Oh. But apparently, it's easier and simpler to just not help. Oh, that's scary shit, man. The thing is, every one of us are going to get old. Every single one of us are going to age. Some of us are not going to be fortunate enough to reach to the point where you get to that age where you're probably falling down on the street or falling down a stair or you need help from a younger individual. Well, there probably won't be that many young individuals around to help you anyway. But thankfully, the robots will be there the next 4 or 5 years. But the point is that you will either reach to that point and be pretty decrepit. Side note, take care of your health and take care of your strength as best as possible, meaning do not stop lifting weights. The worst case scenario, you die before you reach to that point where you're decrepit. A lot of us are dying from freaking strokes, heart attacks, or cancer before we reach to the age where we're decrepit, where we need help from society. So these are the only two ways out, my friends, out of this world, right? And it almost seems like if you are in a society that's not prepared to help you, why would you want to live to that age? Because there's nothing worse than feeling helpless. Imagine falling down, unable to get up, and no one freaking helps. Everybody just walks across, look at you like a piece of garbage sitting on the side of the road. Whew, man. That's when society has reached its low. And I'm afraid that's what has happened in China, it seems like. But how did they get here, man?
Do you know who the culprit is that makes people afraid to help elderly people? On October 20th, 2006, 64-year-old Xu Xiulian fell while getting off a bus in Nanjing. A 24-year-old man, Peng Yu, kindly helped her, took her to the hospital, and even paid 200 yuan for her hospital fees. Afterward, Xu actually sued Peng in court. The judge, Wang Hao, said something shocking. Quote, If you didn't hit her, why did you help her? Unquote. As a result, Peng had to pay 60,000 yuan in compensation to Xu. Currently, Peng and the related individuals have left Nanjing and have not been seen since. Xu, unable to bear the insults from neighbors, had to move and passed away in 2010. Her son was removed from his position for violations, and the presiding judge, Wang, was also suspended for review. Society claims that this case set China's moral standards back at least 100 years.
And then there's the vicious mutual fighting. If someone hits you, you can't fight back. Fighting back is mutual fighting. You can avoid it, but you can't hit back. What logic is that? One person said, it's like two pigs fighting in a pig pen, and the owner doesn't care about the cause. All they want is silence, so they give each pig 2 slaps.
Why didn't you run away when they hit you? Why did you fight back? Why couldn't you just bear it? On October 10, 2014, several students at Beijing's Shougang Institute of Technology were doing physicality tests. 21-year-old Liu Zhenzhe was passing by when a student, Wang, accidentally fell. Wang blamed Liu and held a grudge. That night, Wang and a few friends decided to vent their anger. They broke into Liu's dormitory and beat him. Afterward, they dragged him to the hallway and continued to beat him. In the chaos, Liu picked up a fruit knife to defend himself, leading to the unfortunate death of 2 classmates. In court, after reviewing surveillance footage, it was clear that Liu had been far away from Wang during the physicality test, meaning that someone else might have affected him. Wang most likely blamed the wrong person, possibly thinking Liu was easier to bully and decided to vent on him. However, the presiding judge of the case, Yan Fang, shockingly asked Liu these 3 questions. Why didn't you run when they hit you? Why did you fight back? Why couldn't you just bear it? Unquote. Ultimately, Liu's self-defense claim was not accepted, and the court sentenced him to 15 years in prison for intentional injury, with a fine of 88,000 yuan. This case, with Judge Yan Fang and the judge from the Peng Yu case, Wang Hao, has earned him the title of unspeakable scum in today's Chinese judicial system. The negative impact on society is immeasurable.
That is insane. What kind of judges do they have in China? Holy Christ. The victim is the problem. Being a victim, a bunch of men are kicking your ass. You pick up a knife, take out 2 of them. You are the problem. You should have ran. Can't run. You cannot run from multiple men in a room. It's impossible. This is obviously a judge that have no idea about conflict. Whew. So rightly so. Now what do you do as a man teaching your kids to defend themselves, or a young man who wants to defend himself against a bunch of hoodlums? Just run away. Run away. Oh, I can't run. Okay, just take the beating. Take the beating. Get my ass beat. This is insane. I have a whole different view on the Chinese judicial system. Let's keep going.
And it is evident how parents are now teaching their children.
Don't get involved in others' business. Don't take advantage. Don't help the elderly. Don't buy stocks. Don't watch crowds. Don't eat takeout. Don't trust experts. Don't trust advertisements. Don't trust professors. Don't buy what others recommend. Don't take out loans. Don't mortgage. Don't donate blood.
This survival rule is widely circulated in China today, but who can simply say whether it is right or wrong? On a rainy morning, a woman was riding an electric bike slowly. The road was slippery and she lost control of the bike, falling heavily to the ground along with the bike. The sound of her fall immediately caught the attention of a man nearby, and a woman in red passing by was also startled by the scene and stopped walking. The man glanced around but took no action, then lowered his head to continue using his phone. Another woman on an electric bike also looked at the fallen woman, but seeing no one helping, quickly sped off without a word. After hesitating for a long time, the woman in red finally stepped forward to help. As she passed by the man, they exchanged a glance and he awkwardly smiled. She had seemed ready to help, but instead, she quickly passed him and left in a hurry. Even more heart-wrenching was that the cars passing by showed no intention of stopping to help the woman. She lay there hopelessly with cars rushing by, posing a risk of further injury. The man, seeing the road becoming crowded, quickly put away his phone and drove off, glancing back at the woman as he left. One can't help but wonder what he was thinking at that moment. As time passed, more and more people gathered, laughing and talking as if watching a joke. Amidst the laughter, a man in black walked up. He picked up a flower pot from the ground and quickly approached the fallen woman. Everyone was shocked, not knowing what he was about to do. It turned out that he placed the flower pot in front of her as a roadblock to prevent passing cars from running over her. In the comment section, one person said, quote, "Is this flower pot the last bit of kindness from Chinese people? It's so sad," unquote. Another person commented, quote, "Judge Wang Hao, this prosperous world is exactly as you wished," unquote.
Wow. That is the saddest thing that I've ever seen, man. But I suspect this is where the entire globe will soon end up. Because once we start with where women are no longer protected by men in general because they have been deceptive, it's not a far leap from the elderly. It really isn't. You let me know. You let me know if I'm wrong. But to be honest, China is a much more advanced society. It's an older society, right? And the people have gone through many different transitions on morality. They're here now. And this is where they have arrived to. And you just say to yourself, all this is, to me, is just an advanced version of where America is right now. And I suspect that the rest of the world isn't far off. I mean, 4 weeks ago, a gentleman at the gym, one of my boxing buddies, he had to rescue a woman in a car accident. You know, she had practically her entire arm. She had a total compound fracture. And he said when he arrived on the scene, he was on his way to the gym. He said, you know, when I arrived on the scene, there was already a couple of local guys that were there and a couple of other people who were just standing around. No one would go and try to help the woman. And she was going into shock. So he basically found something to tie her arm up to her chest and held her arm in place and just sat there, put his arm around her and say, hey, it's going to be okay, because he could see that she was going to go into shock. Now, this is an ex-army dude, so he understood exactly what he was doing. But what he said was, before he arrived, there was a lot of cars who just stopped, looked, and just drove off. And he sat there with this woman on the side of the road, next to the wreckage, waiting for the ambulance to come. Just kept her company so that she didn't go into shock. And you know, guys, you don't understand how vital this is in order for us to keep our society going. He said it was a little inconvenient. He had to give a statement, what he saw, and he said, listen, I just came across the scene, and I saw that she was in trouble, and that's it. I tried to help. Police said, okay, no problem. If we ever need you, let's leave your number. And that was it. No trouble, no problems, which I suspect is just a normal thing to do. But when a society makes it difficult for the victim and the white knight, the good people, when you make them feel like they are the ones that should be punished, this is what you'll get. In China, they had 2 horrible judges that made that decision. And I'm glad that they were actually taken off the bench. Listen, I've only shown you half of the video because I want you guys to go over and support their channel, China Observer. I always love some of the content from there because it shows you a different perspective from different countries. So, my friend, like this video on the way out. Please book a session if you need any help at all with your life, with your business, with your relationship. The older man is here for you. All right? Check in the description of this video. Pick up one of my digital products. Start to build your own content today. Okay? So until tomorrow, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.